In this Witcher 4 video, we're going to be taking a look at the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo of The Witcher 4 that was revealed at the State of Unreal just about a day ago now. And we're going to get into what we learned from that, what The Witcher 4 is shaping up to be, what we've gleaned from the 15-minute presentation there, and just get into the details of that. Now, the first thing that I'll note is that there is a big disclaimer on this footage saying that this is not actual gameplay and not an actual representation of the final version of the game. And thank God for that, honestly. As somebody who went to the Cyberpunk 2077 presentations, multiple ones behind closed doors, and we were shown gameplay that was not an accurate reflection of the game. It looks like CDPR is taking steps to make sure people understand that this is not an accurate representation of what the full game is going to be, that they are just seeing a small sliver, things are going to change, and things like that. On the other side of that, they are still using this as a marketing tool to get you hyped for the game. So I would just say that everything that we're seeing here, take with a little bit of grain of salt. Don't believe everything that you see. Don't think the exact game is going to look like this or run like this. Just know that this is just a small sliver of what they're trying to achieve or maybe trying to achieve. So let's get into what we learned. So the most obvious thing that you notice instantly is how gorgeous this game actually looks, or at least the tech demo looks. The character models, the animations on characters, the visual fidelity, the lack of pop-in when they're scrolling around the forest. The forest looks beautiful. You see things and you don't see this like lots of pop-in everywhere. Keep in mind that this is running supposedly on the PlayStation 5, the base PlayStation 5, running at 60 FPS with ray tracing on. And if they can actually achieve that at the launch of this game, that will be incredible. And again, take this with a grain of salt that what we're seeing here now doesn't necessarily mean that's what we're going to get, right? Like just because a segment of the game can run at that doesn't mean the entire game can run at that. We saw Dragon's Dogma 2. That game ran very well, except when you were in the city, and it ran poorly there. So I'm a little bit skeptical that this game is actually going to be able to run at a solid 60 FPS with ray tracing on the entire game with no drops. And in fact, if you look at the tech demo very, very closely, you can see subtle little drops in FPS here and there that plummet a little bit lower than 60 FPS, being nitpicky, obviously. But something else is that you don't see a lot of fast movement. I see this a lot in marketing where the characters walk slowly trying to show off the game world. But a lot of times this also masks FPS issues. When the character moves quickly, nothing in front of them has to load very quickly. I saw this with Avowed when I played Avowed. The performance of that game was not that great in my estimation. And when you saw early previews of the game, the characters were moving very slowly, but you noticed when you started playing the game, if you start sprinting, the performance started dipping. So I really wonder how this game's going to look and feel when the character is full on galloping through the forest full speed. Is everything going to pop in? Is it still going to stay at 60 FPS? What's going to happen when there's a lot of effects on the screen? So I'm a little bit skeptical that they're actually going to be able to achieve this, but nonetheless, the fact that they are going for it is still incredible. And there are a couple really big takeaways from this as well, besides, the graphics. There was a lot of focus on performance as well, trying to get that 60 FPS, and also improvements to the Unreal Engine 5 itself that may have ramifications across the industry as a whole. The better that engine gets, because it's used by so many developers in their games, the less performance issues there are going to be in the industry. So regardless of whether or not this game actually hits 60 FPS on PS5, I think generally speaking, the performance is going to be better than what it could have been if some of these changes to the Unreal Engine 5 hadn't occurred. And I hope that future games that are developed on Unreal Engine 5 continue to see performance increases, and those games actually run more smoothly as well. Other things we learned in this video, Ciri is confirmed to be the main protagonist. Obviously, this was known already, but you can clearly see that this is the case here from the gameplay. And her voice actress, in my opinion, is absolutely fucking perfect. She is so good. She's got the perfect amount of wittiness and sassiness so far with that accent. It's so good. Ciara Berkeley is the voice actress, in case you were wondering. I think it just makes sense. She has this more mature Ciri vibe going on, and I think she was perfectly cast for this role, which is just going to make this game even better. I mean, Geralt's voice actor is iconic at this point, and I think it would be so strange to have a completely different voice actor for Geralt. So having a different voice actor for Ciri in Witcher 4 could have gone badly, but I think they did a really, really good job here, and I can't wait to see how that shapes up in the full version of the game. Another thing that CDPR is touting in this video is the responsiveness of the world. Ciri bumps into somebody, they drop apples, a kid runs over and picks them up. and is, going to run off with them and things like that. It's going to be really interesting to see if that continues throughout the whole game, if there are little things like that around the whole world. Typically, in my experience, developers show off things like this, but there are not a lot of them, right? Like, they just don't spend the energy developing them because most people aren't going to notice them. I would say Larian is excellent at this, and there are a couple other developers out there that do a really good job of adding small details that people will miss. But generally speaking, I'm curious to see how responsive the world is going to be. I'm sure it will be responsive, absolutely. But is it just like small little things like this, or does it only apply to like, the first half of the game, or things in the second half of the game just as responsive? I really, really want to see this. And hearing some things, it may sound like I'm a little jaded about, what CD Projekt Red is doing. I will say that I didn't appreciate the way that Cyberpunk 2077 was marketed, particularly because I was involved in seeing some of those presentations that showed the game in a completely different way that it was finalized in, that maybe not a lot of people did, even though I know that the way that game was marketed, it was marketed more of an RPG than it ended up being, and a lot of people were disappointed in that, myself included. But I have to say that CDPR is one of the most ambitious, if not the most ambitious studio out there. And in my estimation, with Cyberpunk 2077, I think they really wanted to deliver that game. I don't think it was their intention to intentionally deceive people into something different. I think they had such ambitious goals, they just didn't have the time or budget or whatever you want to call it to reach those in the amount of time that they had. So I don't think it was like intentional. And I really love to see ambition in gaming. We see so much these days that people are just stuck in a rut doing the same thing they've always done. Ubisoft, Bethesda, you just see it over and over and over in their games, and they have no creativity, it feels like. They don't push the envelope. They're not trying to do something new. And the studios out there that do that are being lauded by people. Look at Expedition 33. Look at Baldur's Gate 3. These are games that have lots of ambition, and I really applaud CDPR for being on the forefront of that. Whether this game delivers exactly what everyone hopes for or not remains to be seen. They have a really, really high bar after The Witcher 3, but I love that they're not just settling for another Witcher 3 and that they're trying to even improve on that. Anyway, those things said, I cannot wait to see more of The Witcher 4. From what we've seen so far, it looks good. I want to believe in this project. I want it to be amazing. And, I love supporting developers that are pushing creative concepts and are pushing things forward in the gaming industry and are not just settling for what's worked in the past. So kudos there. We'll just have to see if it can actually live up to those performance expectations, and if what we see in the final version of the game or in the early trailers is actually what we get at the launch of the game. I really, really hope it is. I know CDPR can make amazing games. We all know they can. Let's just hope that they can get to where we want them to get, and that this game delivers exactly what we want it to be. What do you guys make from the tech demo? Are you super excited for this game? Are you a little bit skeptical based on Cyberpunk 2077? Are you somewhere in the middle? Let me know in the comments what you think of The Witcher 4 so far and what you expect from the game.
Sleep, is he? The ploughing plonker. Break me pearlies on this blasted pit-ridden tract. Where's fear not dry road? Oi! The devil's out there! It's running from! Look out there! Shield him!
Salt. Almost had me fooled, Fruin.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and welcome to the State of Unreal at Unreal Fest Orlando. We're here to show you what's next with Unreal Engine and so much more. We are thrilled that you're able to join us. Thank you. But first things first, I'm here with Sebastian and Kitek from CD Projekt Red. We have a lot to talk about. Hey, guys.
Hey. Thank you, Wyatt. Thank you, Wyatt, and hello, everyone. With The Witcher 4, we're stepping things up. And to do that, we needed the right partner. One that truly understands that great open-world games are all about art and technology coming together.
Yeah, and look, our goals are completely aligned here. And around the launch of UE5, your awesome team at CD Projekt Red announced a collaboration to make open-world development in Unreal even better. And it's an opportunity, we just couldn't pass it up. So we've been working on a technical demo together to achieve just that. I think we should take a look at it. You guys ready?
Born ready. Kitek is going to play the build for us.
Sure, let's do it.
This is a technological showcase set in the world of The Witcher 4. What you just saw and are going to see now is running on a standard PlayStation 5 at 60 FPS with ray tracing. So in the game, you'll be playing as Ciri, a professional monster slayer, a witcher. She explores the world and hunts down monsters for coin. The region we are in is called Kovir, and you'll get to explore it in a game. Right now, Ciri is investigating a monster, and after gathering new clues, she is heading back to a nearby village. All right, everyone, meet Kelpie.
Let weeds be weeds, Kelpie.
So just like Geralt and Roach, Ciri has her own loyal companion.
We return to town.
These two characters need to feel like one. Since you're gonna explore the world on horseback, riding needs to feel seamless, natural, and just fun.
Yeah, and to support that, we're introducing multi-character motion matching in Unreal. So Ciri and Kelpie, they're perfectly synchronized when mounting from any angle and speed. And we also support root motion movement on Kelpie, so controlling her feels realistic and grounded. And there are also some really nice improvements to our Unreal Chaos Flesh Solver and these machine-learned deformations. So you've got realistic muscles moving and stretching under Kelpie's skin without compromising the performance there.
So let's leave Ciri behind for a second and talk about the world itself. So much of the Witcher world is natural, organic, especially Kovir with its dense forest and wild nature.
Yeah, and wild nature is hard. And with nanite geometry, we've freed artists from so many of their old constraints. But we don't want to rest until everything we do in Unreal has that same spirit of freedom. There's always more work to do. And foliage is a huge piece of that puzzle. So we are excited to introduce nanite foliage. And in order to achieve gorgeous foliage density everywhere, while still being memory efficient, fast to render, we believe that a new idea was needed. So instead of the same card approach we've been using for the past 20 years, artists should be free to take a nanite approach to foliage, modeling every single leaf and pine needle. And the old LOD tricks of the past, they needed a complete rethink. And in their place, it's a new adaptive voxel representation in nanite. It's volumetric, it's fully 3D, it is super fast to render. And these dense clusters of triangles turn into these cubes, which at a distance, they're no larger than a pixel. and they react to the changing light of our dynamic sun and our shadows, and they allow artists to render whatever amount of foliage is needed to achieve their vision without compromise.
And no compromise means how ambitious we are when it comes to bringing our vision to life with incredible visuals. But more than that, together with Epic, we created faster way to load the world. We can now bring in more content more quickly for the smoothest possible experience as we fly down to catch up with Ciri. Welcome to Valdrest. So Valdrest is a port town, a hub for fishing, trade and mining. It's one of those places where you can meet shady characters or overhear gossip from other lands. It's also where Ciri took on her current contract. High-tech, let's leave Kelpie here and explore the marketplace and food.
And the missus?
I'm so excited we can finally show you some of this stuff. Let's see what Valdrest has to offer.
Not her again.
Not even at the Land Exeter Fair! Now, 9 gazes while I present him with a fish. For the furry rascal will often wait, and the fair's weight grants good fortune.
Pardon.
Guys, notice how responsive the world is. Character actions directly affect what happens around you, sometimes even setting off chain reactions. Everything is working together. Oh, look at this poor gentleman being taught how to fly by an angry innkeeper. That's what happens when you cheat at Gwent.
Last of it, is it?
Ready to aim.
Silver, round ones, what jingle in the purse.
Okay, so this is the guy who gave the series quest his own. Like you probably suspect, he has his own agenda in all of this.
You're off your tits again, Wilfred. Get your ass up.
A typical day's toil.
Who in? Ah, Witcheress. What news of my wagons? No eternity is taking that damn salt to arrive.
I found them. And, well, suffice to say, they'll not reach you. As for the salt, I found not one speck. I presume this comes as no surprise to you. Now. Kavir's smuggling trade is of no concern to me.
Shush, shush, shush.
The manticore that flattened your cart and devoured your men, quite the opposite.
Manticore? No, them winged hellspawn dwell in the arse end of Creighton. Not here.
While Ciri decides what to do about that merchant, let's take a look at the character technology that powers this marketplace. Why don't we listen in on these fishmongers? They're selling their wares, chatting up customers.
Morning, catch fishes. Won't find none fresher.
Rugged me ladies after one of them.
Course. Get this cleaned and gutted for you. You mind, dearest? Interesting, something more. Got mackerel, cod, all Braxton's finest.
And there is tons of tech at play here, even in this simple market stall. Metahuman tools, improved Unreal smart objects, chaos cloth, and more.
Yeah, and all of this exists to make sure that the gap in quality between Ciri and NPCs is as small as possible.
Yeah, and closing that gap, it's not just about fidelity, right, but also authenticity. They should react to changes in the world around them.
But the prisoner in Pillory isn't exciting enough for Valdrest. Let's grab everyone's attention with a circus. But the great performance deserves a huge crowd though. Let's crank it up.
So you are seeing tons of optimizations here to many of Unreal systems, including an entirely new Unreal animation framework, allowing us to fit easily in our 60 FPS budget, not just in rendering, but also with room to spare on the game thread. Over 300 animated skeletal mesh agents all going about their business. And the whole point is to leave breathing room for developers like you to introduce the gameplay and the systems that your players expect, empowering you to make your worlds come to life without Unreal standing in your way.
You are right. And that's the open world RPG that we're making. But before we wrap up, how about one final check-in with Ciri? We are making this game to be the most immersive and ambitious open world Witcher game ever. And we are making this a reality thanks to our work on Unreal with the team at Epic. I think what we are doing together is going to bring in a new generation of open world RPGs, and I'm so proud of what we accomplished so far.
We are too.
So we're almost done, but before we go, here's a small gift for all Witcher fans. A first look at Lanexeter.
Onward, Kelvin. With what?